Starting this NBA season, the San Antonio Spurs were a rebuilding team. But today, they're shaping to be a serious force in the NBA. Maybe not today, but at least in the upcoming years, and much sooner than everybody thought. In this video, you're going to see the points that make the San Antonio Spurs today such a threatening team for the rest of the NBA, but also the major challenges that are standing in the way of them becoming legitimate title contenders, and what the Spurs might do to finally win another championship after so many years of drought. I said before, the Spurs are much higher and stronger than I expected at the beginning of the season. To be clear, nobody thought that Wembanyama would be bad, or at least nobody with a reasonable mind. However, the Spurs are 10th and fighting for a chance to be in the play-in tournament already this season, in the second season of Victor Wembanyama. And continuing to the main points of why the Spurs are so interesting this season must be the Fox trade. I mean, it just happened, it is new, but we can already see the difference in how they play, and of course, the quality step up for the San Antonio Spurs, especially for a long-term future, as Fox is a very young player. We're talking about one of the most exciting duos in the NBA right now. I mean, such young and so much potential. Fox will bring elite speed, playmaking, and scoring to the table, exactly what the Spurs need next to Wemby. In the 2024-25 season, Fox is already averaging 24.6 points per game, which is the 13th best in the league, and also 6.3 assists per game, placing the 15th best in the league, showcasing the capacity to facilitate and create opportunities for his teammates, and obviously helping Wembanyama with those alley-oops and creating space for other players, and obviously helping them get more buckets. Obviously, what we also saw during the season is the fact that Wemby sometimes took the ball even as a point guard, as a backward player, and Fox as a proven leader during those years of Sacramento Kings will stabilize the backcourt and take the pressure off Wemby, which can finally focus on what he's good at, getting those buckets in the post, even at the three-point line, but at least helping actually have a good ball handler to help Wemby in the San Antonio offense, which has been an issue in the past. I mean, we're talking about a team that didn't give that much up for the Fox trade. I mean, we're talking about someone who, on November 15, 2024, so 3 months ago, scored his career high and a franchise record high 60 points in the game. However, the potential of the potential of Fox must be still questioned. We're talking about a second option on what will be a future championship caliber team. Does he have what it takes to be that second star alongside Wemby in a playoff setting? I mean, he's not a player we've seen too much in the playoff setting and has too much experience in that area. And having watched recent games of Spurs against the Hornets and the Magic, I'm not necessarily convinced. I'm not saying he's a bad influence on the team. I'm not saying has potential to be, of course, a leader in the time of playoffs, because we've seen his maturity recently at the Sacramento Kings last season and this season as well. However, I think one main issue is the fact that him and Wemby have a problem of spacing, a huge problem of spacing, where I think they kind of step on each other's toes, and we saw it a lot during the San Antonio Spurs game against the Magic, where a lot of times Fox just dribbled the ball around in the paint looking for someone, and when Barnes or even Castle wasn't on the three-point line, the spacing of the San Antonio Spurs was simply horrible, and I think that's what they caused in the game, because in the first quarter, the only reason why the Spurs took such a big lead was the fact that Harrison Barnes was hitting the threes, and when that stopped, Fox and Wembanyama, for now, they're still struggling to get that teamwork going on. Of course, it's still their first games, and we have to be optimistic for the future, but for me, there's things to be worried about, and maybe bringing a third star might be just the solution for the San Antonio Spurs. However, one thing that we cannot understate is the insane second-year leap of Victor Wembanyama. I mean, I'm from French, I love my boy Victor, but like, that season is objectively incredible. I mean, he's already playing like a top 10 NBA player, which in most rankings made by ESPN place him in the top 10, and he's gonna win DPOY. If he doesn't win DPOY, ask him to understand, he's dominating every statistics when it comes to defense. He's probably simply the best defensive player in the league in his second season, and he's already making an MVP case. Maybe not yet, but he's getting there very soon. He still has some sometimes he's just a bit unreliable when it comes to scoring, but still, we're talking about a player who is in second season and who basically is carrying a team on his own back, maybe until the Fox trade. Obviously, we can also not talk about the future of the San Antonio Spurs without talking about the rise of the young core of the team, especially without some of the very smart choices during drafts from the head office from the San Antonio Spurs. I mean, this season we've seen the rise of multiple players. Firstly, Stephon Castle, who's been honestly growing confidence as a rookie very much, and where in the beginning of the season was talking more on the back heel when it comes to Rookie of the Year voting. And for me, now is clearly in the debate for Rookie of the Year with maybe Jared McCain and others. But for me, he's clearly in that race. He showed flashes of very defensive-minded players, very nice, very strong playmaking as well. We've seen it with Wemby multiple times. Future looks very bright. He could be a valuable two-way player next to Wemby, which obviously Wemby is a two-way player as well. So that defensive impact of San Antonio Spurs could be very interesting around Stephon Castle. And recently having his 33 points highest scoring game yet, which obviously will boost his confidence and also maybe augment his role within this San Antonio team. I mean, during the Magic game, we saw him guarding Wagner, which was really decimating the team inside, and he was the one trusted to do that. So it shows the trust of the staff towards him and the potential that they see inside of Stephon Castle, which I also see. Honestly, I think this guy has very good potential, and honestly, I hope he doesn't disappoint me. A second player, obviously, is Jamie Sohan. I mean, I'm also half Polish, so this is my other half. So obviously, Spurs kind of my team. I won't lie to you, I'm a Spurs fanboy, but I think he's an underrated gem by far. I think he's one of the most underrated players. Actually, Swiss Army knife, who can just guard multiple positions, contribute on offense. He's been a key player, especially in the beginning of the season for Spurs defense. He's been injured, and he came back a bit more difficult time for him right now, the difficult period. But he shows up defensively, and I love my Polish boy. And then we also have Devin Vassell and Keldon Johnson, which, brings solid scoring depth, especially Vassell recently. He came back from injury. He's been scoring quite a bit, especially the last game against the Magic. And also previously he's been getting a gun more and more to the groove. And Keldon Johnson was honestly kind of surprised me this season as a more reliable scorer, and especially inside the paint. He's one of the most aggressive players in the NBA inside the paint, especially on the San Antonio team. So the supporting cast around the Wemby, this young Spurs cast is really strong. I don't think we can talk about the Spurs as being a very smart team without talking their mastery in trades and asset management. We talked about it around the Aaron Fox trade, but honestly, amazing job by the Spurs front office in how they manage their assets, valuable draft picks. I mean, we saw it during, for example, the Kawhi Leonard trade where he wanted to go for free. I mean, they were going to lose him. They got multiple assets instead of nothing, since he wanted out. And Poto, who became valuable center, then flipped later for more picks, and of course DeRozan. I mean, we also saw, especially during the Derek White to Boston trade, a lot of first round picks and a 28 swap, who could honestly be huge for the Spurs. We'll see whatever this Boston goes, but it could be really huge. And the DeJounte Murray trade to Atlanta, which obviously gave them a lot of first round picks for a player that honestly, DeJounte Murray was not the most interesting player, and they weren't at all contending at the time, so it just made sense for them. And I mean, the first round pick of Atlanta is coming up in 2025. It actually could be very, very valuable for the San Antonio Spurs. So yeah, the front office of the San Antonio Spurs has been doing a fantastic job. Of course, as I said in the beginning of this video, we're gonna have to see the limitations of this, of what problems might be holding the Spurs back in the future. And of course, it's the lack, for me, a true big mental player of Wemby. We've seen Wemby today. He can play in the paint, but it's not his bit it's not where he's the best necessarily. He is a very rich player when it comes to what he can do, and I think having a big center around him could fix this quick little issue of the fact that Wemby's kind of like their only inside player, because they traded the other big man recently and they find themselves without one. And so yeah, I think they should be trading for anyone. Of course, the deadline is out, but next season maybe free agency should be interesting. So, well, while I was recording that, Bismack Biyombo signed for the San Antonio Spurs, so there we go. That is fixed. But yeah, so I was thinking maybe, however, one issue still remains is how will this young core work around the team, because they need a big man, because Vassell, Castle, Fox, Chris Paul, even all these players, they're not necessarily front court players, they're all back court. They need taller, stronger players on this team, and I'm scared that they're gonna have to flip one of those assets, which from the management perspective would be very smart, but for me it would just kind of sad as Spurs fans see them probably leave very soon. No questions, is Fox and Wemby enough? That's obviously we talked about before. They might need another start to the mix, and can Fox develop into a better player? Because this is realistic. Today, Fox's level, they're not contending yet. Maybe if they sign another player during free agency, which they can with the cap they have for 2025, and especially Wemby on a rookie contract. But we'll see what is the possibility there, and what would the potential cost for the third star be if they will have to trade away, Vassell, Sohan away for the star, maybe damage some of their young core. So what do you guys think the future holds for the San Antonio Spurs? I think they got a really bright future, if I'm being honest. There's some key challenges they need to overcome, but I think they're pretty easily solvable, especially with the amount of assets they have and how we've seen the San Antonio Spurs manage the assets in the past. And of especially them fixing already one of the issues with the Wemby free agency signing for the Spurs. And the focus duo Wemby, which honestly, even though, as I said, which is focus Wemby duo maybe not the best yet, but I think this mix could be very promising in the future. And I've seen some sparks of very nice moments. So let me know in the comments if you wish, should the Spurs make a big trade for a third star, wait for maybe for the free agency, or keep on developing the young stars and maybe make it work through the young core they have. Either way, don't forget to like and subscribe for more NBA content and basketball content in general. It was my first YouTube video. Hope you liked it. Obviously, the quality will improve further on the time, but anyway, that was the film room studio, and thank you for watching.